Welcome to our first bike review on my personally owned CB650, which I've owned for a year. Let's take you through it. Now, before you car guys tune out, what does this actually feel like when you compare it to a car? Now, when I call it a bit of a beginner bike, I'd say you need to be a very experienced car driver to call it a beginner bike, to use that to go with you, because this bike, I'd say it's on par with around an R8 or something. Probably around, less than 4 seconds to 60, maybe as soon as you get over 90, 100, the R8's going to go away. But, that initial acceleration that you get out of these bikes, like, I think Teslas may come close, but I've driven R8s and I've driven a load of stuff, and it's just not quite the same. This thing feels really, really intense when you're giving it a load. So, if you're quite experienced, maybe it's something you should get into, because that's only for £3 grand, and you can get all of that pace. And this is the beginner stuff. Obviously, the litre stuff, it's a whole different story. Now, what is a Honda CB650? Okay, so Honda CB650 is part of Honda's street bikes, obviously the CB line. This is the mid-range, which comes with a inline 4 with 86 horsepower, revs to 11,500 RPM. Being an inline 4, it's not quite as torquey as some of the other 650s that are twins, but it does pretty well. Nice and smooth inline 4 to have on a bike is pretty nice. Now, moving around to the back of the bike, quite an interesting thing about this 650 class bike, because all the other 650s usually have a 160 rear section tyre. On the CB650 you actually find a 180 rear tyre, and I actually changed to the Michelin Road 5s, which, big recommendation. I've got some good mileage out of these, and they're really good tyres. So if you're looking for a bit of stability, a 180 rear tyre is quite nice to have in a 650 class, especially if you're looking for this to be your first bike, which it was my first bike. Turning the bike on, you've got nice LEDs up front, as you just saw. Now, moving on to the dash, quite nice on these bikes, you get a fuel gauge, which for you bikers out there know that's quite rare, and you also get a full trip computer. Oh, sorry, pressing the wrong one. 27,000 miles, trip A, trip B, fuel consumption instantaneous and fuel consumption average. 26 not good at the moment, but I've just been in town. Speed and revs, indicators, and the time, and that's about it. But what else do you need when you're on the road? As well as that, I've obviously got the heated grips here, which are Oxford off-brand, and the feel of a Honda is always quite nice. So the buttons all work. I mean, they're same across the board. You get the same buttons on a scooter, but they work fine. Not so luxurious, but they work fine. Moving around the front, there's this little windscreen for a little bit of wind protection. Doesn't really do much. You've got LED lights and a nice dip beam light in there, which do help visibility. And for stopping power up the front, you do not have upside down forks, but we do have dual discs and brakes with ABS. This being my first bike was a long choice for me, I think, as all people that are looking for a first bike is. But why did I go for this particular one as my first bike, which I think was quite a good choice? Well, I wanted the most bike I could get for my money, and I think that this raises a great argument for that. So 2014, obviously quite a new bike. You get a 180 section rear tyre as well as ABS front and back, which for me at the time was definitely a must. I wanted to try and be as safe as I could on the road. No, it doesn't have traction control, but the characteristics of this inline 4 means that traction control's never been needed. And that was another thing that drew me to this bike. The 650 with an inline 4 just seemed a lot more interesting to me than a twin. I wanted the sing of an inline 4, which this gives you. What do I mean by sing? Well, I mean singing straight up to 9,000, 10,000 RPM, which sounds a little bit like this. After all the positives, I am going to be getting rid of this bike. And I know that sounds a bit weird after I've just hyped it up and everything. And it's nothing the bike's fault. It's probably my personality a little bit, but I find the problem with the bike, it's just a little bit too tame. It's a little bit boring. Not boring as such, but it's kind of a sporty commuter. It's cool, it's got an inline 4, but in the same way, the inline 4 doesn't really do anything. It's got a 180 section rear tyre, ABS front and back that you can't turn off. There's nothing you can really do with it. And yes, I can go faster to a litre bike, but I'm not sure if that's what I want to do. I just want to have a little bit more play, and that's something that this bike doesn't offer. Now, if you're an experienced rider, I'd probably say I don't really need this bike as such. If you are an experienced rider, or if you're an old rider getting back into riding, I think if you're only going to use it on a blue moon, it would still feel special. But considering I rode this for a year, non-stop pretty much, just by the end of it, it's just a bit more the same. And I think Cameron can back me up for this. I never keep things for a year, so I think I keep it up for a year. It's pretty good going for me. But no, it's a perfect bike. It's absolutely perfect if the bike you want is to commute. But I'm no longer commuting, and so maybe something a little bit more spicy. That's like a drag strip. Sorry, Michelins. It was for the views.
That's crazy how sticky it gets. That was only like 3 seconds.
Oh, it's mad, isn't it? Yeah. To summarise, I have loved my year with this bike, and I'm so glad I got on 2 wheels, and I'd love to encourage all of you out there to get on 2 wheels. It is great, makes you a much better driver, and I really want Cameron to join me on a road trip or something out there in the near future. But as for me, with the journey with this bike, I think it's coming to an end. It is great value for money, but I'd love to try always new things, and I think that's always the best way to have an attitude towards these things. So gonna have to say goodbye to it now. I will do a little drive with it with my GoPro, so you can see that in the next video that comes out with this bike. But for now, if you enjoyed this video, please like, please subscribe, and tell your friends about us, and we will see you next time.